Hi everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name's Amanda Nova. I am a shaman and Kundalini facilitator, and I am going to tell you the quickest way to timeline jump, to quantum leap. So if you are looking to jump to a new reality, a new timeline where maybe you are more successful, you are making more money, you have a relationship with the love of your life. If you are trying to call something big in like that, you are essentially trying to do a timeline jump. Now, the way that I view timelines is that there are just an infinite amount of timelines happening all at the same time. So if there is something that comes to your mind that you want, or maybe something that you've seen, like a vision, that is already happening. That is something that is happening in a version of you. So there is a version of you somewhere who is living out a different timeline or different experience, and all these things are happening at the same time, but maybe that version, the future looks a little bit different for them, right? And maybe that future is super abundant. Maybe that future does contain a relationship. And so all these things are happening all at the same time. So when we experience things like deja vu or the Mandela effect, for example, which is when everybody remembers something being a certain way from the past, but it was not actually that way. For example, I remember specifically that Jonathan Taylor Thomas from Home Improvement, and I'm dating myself here, I was born in the late 80s and I grew up through the 90s, so he was a pretty big deal. When I was in college, he came out as homosexual. He came out as gay. This is something that I recall happening. I remember that it was announced, it was a big deal, it was in the news, it was while he was also, I think, at school, so maybe he was in college, I don't know, but I recall this happening. And just recently, I learned that not everybody has this recollection. This never happened. This did not happen. So if you don't remember that happening and you're saying, Amanda, you're crazy, that never happened, like, that's fine. I just remember that happening. And there are other people who remember that as well. There's something also, if you look it up, there's a lot of different things, like remembering the Bernstein Bears, and they're really, I think, the Stein Bears or Berenstein Bears or something. I don't know. Look it up. There's a lot of different things with the Mandela effect, but it happens in your own life when you do a timeline shift. So for example, I had just posted about this recently, but I know that I've been doing a bunch of sort of micro timeline jumps of just like jump versus like one big leap. And the other day I had this insane experience that I just talked about, and I think in another video, so you can go back and listen to that one, but basically where I thought that I put my coffee into the microwave and then walked away and came back and it was already heated up sitting on the counter, and nobody did that. It was just me who was upstairs. So bizarre things like that. There's also people I've heard talk about people in certain timelines having tattoos, and then that friend or family member doesn't have a tattoo in another timeline once they leap. This also is deja vu. I always think that deja vu is this sort of like glitching of the matrix, this sort of timeline overlap almost. So it's like, oh, you've been here before, you've done this before, and that's just like what's happening. So that's usually if you're doing a lot of deep meditation or a plant ceremony or doing Kundalini activation with me, and you are looking to shift your vibration into a higher timeline, that's what's happening. So anyway, the quickest way to timeline hop, to quantum leap into a future version of yourself is to align your energy with that version of yourself. You only need to hold that energy, feeling it in your body for 30 seconds for it to be effective. And it might take time to work, but timeline jumps can make things happen at an accelerated rate. They can change your whole life, your whole reality super duper quickly. But you have to believe that you are that higher version of yourself. You have to act as that higher version of yourself. You have to vibrate as that higher version of yourself. So the way to do that is doing it with meditation. So maybe you go into a deep meditation, or you do, let's say, a Kundalini activation with me, and I take you under, and you are then visualizing this future version of yourself, this thing that you want to have. You have to really feel it in your body and hold on to that feeling and hold on to that vision. And you can do that as many times as you would like, but then you have to begin living your life as that version of yourself. So I'll do a meditation maybe in a couple days to help you to quantum leap. Like, I will do a quantum leap timeline shift meditation, but that is all that you do, is get into that. And then you have to say to yourself, what does this version of me do? What do they think? What do they say? So for example, if you are, let's say, trying to jump into a future version of yourself that has more money, that version of yourself is not going to worry about scarcity. That version of yourself is not going to worry about debt. And those things are real things, but it's like how you're letting it impact you that's going to shift it. And those things coming up are triggers. So you have to embody that higher vibration in order to shift into that timeline and essentially become that higher version of yourself that then creates that new reality. So it's that simple and that complicated, because you do have to shift how you believe, what you believe about yourself. And I like to think of it as playing dress up, or as like a little bit of like playing pretend, right? And that's the more that you get into that frequency, and the more that you think, what would I do if I was this version of myself? And the more you sort of play that role-playing game, the more that you will start to believe that you already have it, that it's already done. And you can even say things like, I am so grateful that I got that promotion. Now I am able to buy blah, blah, blah. I'm so grateful. I'm so thankful. And just really try to hold that energy of like, it already happened. I am now in this timeline. I am now this version of myself. And now I do all of these other things. Now I am a different manifestation of myself. So that is what it takes. But again, it's 30 seconds of holding that frequency of the higher version of yourself in order to really embody it and hold it. And in order to hold it, you also have to work on your nervous system, which I'll do another video on, but you have to be able to feel safe enough to hold these bigger things, these higher frequencies. And that's why we do things like Kundalini activation, because I'm activating your life force energy and raising your vibration. And then the more that you do that, the easier it is for you to hold on to these higher frequencies and these higher vibrations. So more to come on this, but if you want a timeline jump really, really quickly, do a deep meditation and get into that future version of yourself. Hold it for as long as you can. Do it as often as you can. And then when you get up, you say, I am going to be this future version of myself. Think like that version. Talk like that version. Act like that version. Do all of the things that that version of you would do until you become that version. And that is how we timeline jump super quick. So that's my whole take on that. More to come on this. Like, subscribe, comment any questions, anything that I can address in the next video, and I will see you in the next timeline. Bye.